welcome back to Harris Family Adventures. If you're new here, my name is Heather. My husband's name is Justin. We have a 10-year-old son named Reese, and we are doing a year, including lots of travel. So I've already made some videos about our trip to Branson. That was earlier in the month of May. And then in June, Justin and I went to the Valentin Imperial Riviera Maya. This is part 2. If you missed part 1, all about our travel day, the Cancun airport, the drinks that we tried, the food that we ordered, go ahead and watch that here. So this is part 2, where I'm going to be talking more about our actual time because we're already there. So if you watch part 1, you know that the day before we had kind of just relaxed, enjoyed the beach bar with the swings, had room service for dinner. I have a lot of notes here in front of me, so you might hear some paper or see me look down because I wanted to make sure I mentioned everything that I remembered. Today is Monday. I'm still getting back on track. We got home Saturday, so this is all pretty fresh in my mind. That's why I wanted to go ahead and make this now. Okay, so as I had said previously, we were going to be spending most of our trip down at the Valentin with another couple. And every time we've gone, this couple has been there as well. And at every time, my sister and brother-in-law also joined us, but we've always been with this couple. Well, they were not coming until Wednesday, or day 2 was Wednesday. They were not coming Wednesday until probably, we thought around 4, because their flight was going to land about 2. Our flight landed about 2 and we got checked in about 4. So that was kind of the math we were doing in our heads all day long. So we had the day to ourselves, which we've never had. We've gone to an all-inclusive, just Justin and I, but it was 8 years ago and it wasn't the Valentin. So we were like, what are we gonna do with ourselves? Typically I wake up very early and I head right down to the pool to save chairs, but I knew like, we only need 2 chairs. There's just the 2 of us. And I knew Justin doesn't really like the main pool. And we'd probably be spending time on the beach. So I didn't really think I needed to save chairs. So I kind of got up and was like, well, what should I do with myself? They do have internet throughout the property. It's not strong on the beach. And at some points it doesn't exist on the beach, but as long as you're on the main property, you do have internet. So I was like, well, I guess I'll watch some YouTube videos and like check my email. So I did that, set it on the balcony. If you watched the first part of the video, again, if you haven't, just go back and watch because I'm gonna reference it a ton. We had a really big balcony, so I went and just kind of sat out there so I could be away from the bedroom and Justin could sleep in a little bit longer. Just had a really nice kind of slow start to the day. Justin was up by 7:30. We both had a little bit of a hard time sleeping in. So then we decided to go ahead and eat at Mar y Tierra. Okay, we're getting into restaurant world here because all I talked about before was a bar and room service. In the olden days, pre-COVID, there were 2 restaurants for breakfast and lunch, and both of them were buffet. Mar y Tierra, this gets a little bit confusing, it also is a restaurant you can go to at night, but that it has a menu. It's not a buffet. There is no buffet at the Valentin. There's no buffet. Okay, so there's Mar y Tierra, which is kind of between the pool and the ocean. So you can get the ocean breezes. You can't see the ocean. Ocean view rooms, you can't really see the ocean, but you can hear it, and there's the breezes, and there's that kind of thing. And then there's La Marche, which is part of kind of all of the restaurants in the lobby area, and that is partially air conditioned, partially not, but still like covered, and there's still some breeze. Not the ocean breeze, but there's still some breeze. And then part of that turns into the Mexican restaurant at night, which is also not a buffet. I know that was really confusing. Anyway, Mar y Tierra now is no longer a buffet, but it is an a la carte. So you scan the QR code with your smartphone. I talked all about that in part 1, and then you can order. Now you can order everything off of the menu. So it's kind of like a buffet in that it's all you can eat basically. If you want to order waffles and a turkey sandwich and an omelet, and then you eat that and you want more, you just order it, no big deal. La Marche, which we went to a couple other days, that is still a buffet for breakfast and lunch. So anyway, Justin and I decided to go to Mar y Tierra for breakfast, and we both got omelets that day. I had Oaxaca cheese, tomato, and spinach. I shouldn't have got the spinach, it was too much spinach. Justin got green pepper, onion, and bacon, and he's not really an omelet person, but he loved it. He's now an omelet person. It came with omelets, came with bacon, sausage, and hash browns, but I said, can I just have hash browns? thinking they'd give me like more hash browns, but they didn't. The hash browns are so good. So good. They also brought us a fruit plate, and they also brought us a basket of different breads. So there was like a little croissant in there, the croissant stuffed with chocolate. There was toast in there. They gave us butter and jelly. So it was such delicious breakfast. Again, I should have just not gotten this spinach. That's my own fault. Okay, we went back to the room because we were going to grab our stuff then to go down to the beach, and they were cleaning. So they will clean your room 2 times, and then it's usually a separate person that stocks the mini bar. So throughout the day, there are people in and out of your room, and they are working so hard. They're working so hard because every time the door is open, the air turns off, and they have the door open at least a little bit when they're in there cleaning, just, so no. People might accuse them if they're in there with the door closed of doing something unsavory. So for their own protection, I don't really feel like it's for my group. For their protection, they leave it open so the air's not on and they are working so hard. And they were still cleaning the room. They'd been cleaning it for quite a while. We're like, okay, well, we'll walk around. So we walked kind of to the main lobby area. I don't know, this was probably 8:30 or 9 at this point. And we found the coffee bar. It was kind of hard to find. On the Valentin, when you scan it, it takes you to the main web page where then you can look at activities and menus and all of that kind of thing. They have a map. I did not find the map to be that helpful, I would just tell you. And I'm pretty good at reading maps, I think. If Justin's watching this, he's going to disagree. I think I'm pretty good at reading maps. This was hard to find, but we did finally find it, and it is beautiful, and it is very cold. So if you are looking for a place to cool down, that is the place. And they have hot coffee drinks, iced coffee drinks. I don't like coffee drinks, which I thought was really fun. So Justin got an iced Kahlua, like Cafe Kahlua, I think was the name of it. He said it was delicious. I got because I don't like coffee, I got a cucumber and mint, like infused water. And I really like cucumber and I really like mint. It was too cucumbery. Like, I drank some and I was like, whoo! And then I thought, okay, I'm just gonna let the ice melt and drink some later. And it was still like, I carried that thing around for a while and I'd take a little sip every so often and it was still very cucumbery. So didn't really care for that, but what a great offering. And it's so nice in there. And if you are needing to buy a gift for someone, if they're watching your kids or they're watching your pets or they're watching your house and you need to get them some kind of gift, they sell coffee in there. So that would be a great place to go to get it. They also had a variety. They had like donuts and cookies and bagel sandwiches and all kinds of things. And it's open from 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. And when I said that, people are like, what, yes, 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. And a couple of days in, I asked one of the employees that was working, because it was like, oh, how much longer do you have to work? And he's like, I have to close, so like I'm here till like 1:30. And I said, do you get a lot of drunk people around that time? And he goes, yep. Because I think if you're like, maybe needing some carbohydrates to kind of absorb some things in your stomach, that would be a great place to go. And again, I'm not even going to try and tell you where it is because it's just it's hard to find. But once you find it, then it's kind of like, oh, duh, like there it is. They did have a sign up front that I had just missed earlier. But a great place to hang out and get your coffee drinks if you want. So let's see. Okay, so we did that. And then we went back to the room, grabbed our stuff, and walked to the beach. Now, the beach is really long. And I would say like the main part of the beach is where you walk down the walkway. It's the bar with the swings. There's a lot of the select club or privilege club or whatever, their little cabanas. And then there's a ton of seating. There's a ton. So each one, it's like one of the little, it's like the pole with like a thatched roof and 2 chairs underneath, and then there's like a little table. So they're very nice, and then you can just move your seat to how much shade or how much sun you want. So that's awesome. And then if you just keep walking and keep walking and keep walking more towards like the ocean view buildings, the beach keeps going. So we sat at the far end of the beach. There is a bar down there. I'm not a beach person. I don't go in the ocean. I'm scared of fish. We didn't really see anybody in the ocean. It's been red flag literally every single time we've gone. We've gone in January, we've gone in March, we've gone in June. It's always been red flag. It's a very rough surf. But I'm scared of fish, so I don't go in the ocean even if it was like perfectly still and calm. And I like to people watch, and there was no people to watch. And the internet didn't work. And you're saying, Heather, you're on a beach in Mexico. You shouldn't need the internet. What do you guys do? What do you do? I didn't have a book. Side note, I'd taken a book. It's called Hell of a Book. That's the name of it, because our town has this like contest of best books, and it was one of the top 3. And when I started reading it in the airport, it was a 10-year-old boy getting bullied, and I have a 10-year-old boy, and I was missing him, and I was like, nope, not gonna read the rest of this. So I didn't have a book, I didn't have the internet, I didn't have people to watch, so I ended up listening to a podcast, which was fine, but it was kind of boring. So we did that. Justin loves the beach. He could just spend literally the whole week there. So that is compromise. 15 years of marriage. There we go. So then he kind of was like, okay, like he knew. He's like, let's go to the main pool. Compromise. 15 years of marriage. So this is probably around 11. That's right. We had like a solid hour down on the beach. And we could not find any seats in the shade. 0. Not even like, well, not 2 together, but not even like 1 where we could put our stuff and like, or like 1 person could sit. No. And that was at 11 on a Wednesday. So it was very crowded, and it was hot, and the main pool was big, and we walked all the way around it. So then we decided to go to the golden pool. So if you've seen my other video about Valentin, kind of like a day in our life there, you'll know that the previous times that we went, we've actually stayed at rooms overlooking the golden pool, but we've never actually gone to the golden pool. So we walked over there, and it was so wonderful. We walked across like these little stones in the water. There's little inset pools kind of next to the golden pool. That's a really bad way to explain it, but I'm hoping that you're seeing some video now about that. And the pools, I will say, when it's crazy hot outside, the pools are very warm, so that was nice. And it was nice. It was just the 2 of us for a really long time. Good bar service. Like, they were pretty quick at coming around and bringing us drinks and water. At one point, a guy named Dennis, and he was there with his wife celebrating their 35th wedding anniversary, and they had a swim up room. So she was in the room, she had ordered lunch for them, and he just wanted to kind of take a quick dip, so we chatted with him for a bit, and then he left because his lunch had come, and then it was back to just the 2 of us. Maybe 3 other people came and sat in chairs, but I think one of them napped and the other one was just kind of on the phone the whole time. It was so nice. It was so like, oh, this is great. And they do have the mats there, so we just had a mat, and we could float on the mat and have a drink and just be in the water, and it'd be delightful. So that was really fun. We didn't try the food there, so they do let you eat poolside there. We're gonna get to that. I don't know what part it'll be. But looking at the menu, I don't know, nothing was really like singing to us. I've heard really good things about it. Dennis, our friend, said the shrimp is super good there, but we don't like shrimp, so that wasn't appealing to us. And at that point, we had been in the sun for a while, and we are Midwesterners. So we went ahead and got out and went back to our room and ordered room service to eat kind of a late lunch there in our room instead. But yeah, when our waiter brought us our drinks, he's like, do you want any food? And we were like, oh, I think we're okay. So that was really nice. Okay, so we went back to our room. It had been a long day and a lot of sun. So we just like, showered and got ready and waited for our friends to come. And again, they flew through immigration just like we did, and they also didn't have any customs, so it was great. They got in pretty quickly. They had a little bit of a wait, but nothing too bad. They stayed in building 3 on the top floor. Spoiler alert, today they're checking out, and there was a coati in their chair on their balcony on the 3rd floor. But anyway, so they had gotten there and they were hungry. They were ready to eat because they hadn't, on travel day, sometimes you don't eat very much. So we went ahead and met them at the Italian restaurant at 6. The Italian restaurant, and I think still, I've always said it's my favorite. I think still it's my favorite. The restaurant doesn't open till 6. So we were there like 5:45, and there's always seating, unless you're getting a COVID test. Wait for that too. So we just sat and kind of caught up and talked about, their travel day compared to our travel day and all of that type of thing. And we went in at 6 as soon as they opened the doors. And then they said, "Do you have your mask?" So I don't need to hear your opinion about any of this. I'm just letting you know. I did wear my mask all of the time that we were in the airport, and most of the time that we were on the plane, unless I was eating or drinking something. Our transfer driver said we did not need to wear masks, but I thought, you don't know who I've been sitting around. I don't want you to get sick. So we did wear a mask there. We had taken the KN95 ones, and I thought that they were delightful to wear, like very easy to wear. I've worked in a public school for 2 years with COVID, so I wore a lot of different types of masks. I really liked those. Our flight attendants told us when we landed the day before that Mexico had just reinstated their mask mandate. Now, I don't know if it was the city of Cancun or the state that Cancun and Puerto Morelos is in. I don't know if it's all of Mexico. I don't know. But they said in the airport you have to. There are announcements on the intercom in the airport that you have to. I would say 80% of the people in the airport had masks on. My friend said that they saw about 50%, and their flight attendant said nothing about it. So it's a little bit confusing, and I would just say have masks and be ready to go. They do have masks for you. They're the blue disposable ones. I don't care for those. So anyway, we said, no, we don't have masks. And they gave it to us, and we walked to our table and we sat down and we took them off because when you're at a table. So I am very pro-vaccination, very pro-mask. I don't need to know how you feel about it. But it did seem strange that okay, we're just gonna wear this to walk here and then sit down and wear it off. So just know a lot of the places, not all the places, but a lot of the places as of June 2022 said you needed to have masks on, but they always had masks to give us if we needed them. So yep, we sat down. I got the caprese salad, so good, and I got the bruschetta. That's the thing, you're not all inclusive. You can order one thing, you can order all the things. You want all of the appetizers? Great. You want 2 appetizers but no soup? Perfect. Great. So I got the bruschetta and I got the caprese salad. I don't know if it was the time of year. I don't know if it was the type of tomato they used. I don't know if where the tomatoes came from was part of it, but the tomatoes were so sweet and delicious. Like, so good. My friend and I both got the caprese salad and she was like, these tomatoes. I was like, I know, these tomatoes. They're so good. They're so good. And then I got the vegetable risotto, which was also really good. But at that point I had, we'd had kind of a later lunch with room service. I didn't even tell you what we ordered for room service. Okay, backtrack. Lunch that day, did I even say? No. Lunch that day for room service, I got the nachos and Justin got a hamburger with fries. We did not get an order of chips because I was getting nachos, so I was like, well, I don't need chips. And then we got chocolate cake. The chocolate cake had a lot of dark chocolate, which most of you were like, yes. I don't like dark chocolate. The hamburger was good. Justin said the french fries again were kind of soggy. And the nachos, I think, had kind of been sitting. It was kind of like when you pick up the chip, the toppings had kind of made it soggy a little bit, so it wasn't as good. But I mean, I still ate it all. So we'd had that, so I wasn't super hungry. Then I had the bruschetta, and then I had the caprese salad, and so I was kind of full by the time the risotto came. But it was so good. Like, I would have taken it to go if that was an option, but I don't think that's an option. So really good. I think everyone really enjoyed their meals there. Then we went to a sports bar. Justin's a big Warriors fan, and the finals were going on, and so we went there, and it was really crowded, and no masks were needed. They did have a thing you could put your wrist up to it, and it would take your temperature if you wanted. Like, there was no mandate to do it. We kind of didn't know what it was until we finally saw somebody do it, and we're like, oh, that's what it's for. So they do have drinks there, and then they have popcorn. I'm not a huge popcorn person, but everybody was like, the popcorn wasn't great. It was kind of chewy and kind of got stuck in your teeth. So we sat there for a bit. My friend came up with this really good idea that they should have karaoke there, which I think would make it really fun, but they don't. So then we went to the burlesque show. So we've gone to one other show for about 5 minutes, and we're kind of like, this just isn't, it's not bad, it's just kind of not how we want to spend our time. So we're like, okay, let's try a burlesque show. And I'll put some video of it here. The video you're seeing, so this guy, he would just swing around on the rope. Most of the time the rope was in his mouth and he was swinging, and that was impressive to watch. And then he would do a cartwheel, and then he would swing on the rope by his mouth, and then he'd do a cartwheel, and then he'd swing. So it just got, and then they had a group of, I think 6 or 8 come out, and they danced, and it was a good dance. And the theater was really crowded. I think people loved it, but again, that's just, I don't know. I didn't love it. We left probably 15 minutes in. Like, yeah, okay, that's good. And then we left. Then we went to the band. Now, I know I might catch some heat for this one. People love the band. And the band is very talented. It's the Imperial Band. They're very talented. The songs that they chose, though, just were not songs that got people out there and dancing. And so I think use that talent and also think about what gets people out on the dance floor, because people are there to dance, and it would have been more fun. So we don't love the band. We always look forward to when the DJ starts, because that seems to be music that more people want to dance to. So we actually stuck around for the DJ to start, and about 3 songs in, we kind of called it a night. Again, the couple we were with, they had been traveling. That was their travel day, so they were really tired. And we just had a lot of time in the sun and that type of thing, so we were pretty tired too. They had great drink service there. We made friends with the server. He's fantastic. Great drink service there, because there's a bar out on the plaza. Oh, and I will say, as a final note for day 2, and I can see this video is getting long, so this might be a part for each day, is every single time that we have gone to Mexico, we have had to, on our first full day there, find the representative for the transportation company and check in with them just to verify what time that we'll be leaving on the last day. And usually they try to sell you some tours. That's kind of the point of it, is like, you go and they're like, oh, that we have your flights at noon, leaving here at 9. I'm like, yep. And they're like, great. Okay, well, did you want to go parasailing? Did you want to go ziplining? Did you want, and I'm, nope. Canada transfers? None of that. None of that. I even said to Justin, like, oh, wait, they didn't tell us about checking in with anyone. And I checked my email, and I didn't have an email from them. So I emailed them, like, just making sure. And they responded really quickly, and you're like, yep. You know, we'll be in touch about those. And then they email me later in the week, and again, Wi-Fi is included, with all of the information. So it was so nice that I didn't have to remember, like, okay, at some point today I need to like make the walk to the lobby and find these people and check in with them and tell them no to the sales pitch and then walk back. Like, I didn't have to spend any of my vacation time dealing with that. So another wonderful plug for Canada transfers. That wraps up day 2, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. So that wraps up part 2 of our Valentin Riviera Maya experience. If you want to hear about part 3, part 4, and part 5, I'm gonna be talking about the French restaurant. I'm gonna be talking about COVID testing. I'm gonna be talking about the hibachi restaurant, and then our trip back into the United States. So if you want to see those types of things, be sure to hit that subscribe and the bell so you know when those come out, because I don't know when that's going to come out. So go ahead and make sure to do that. And also, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like. Any other questions or comments, if I'm able to answer them, I would love to answer them. So you can put them down below. Until then, I will see you next time.